All right, no
Yeah, we
problem.
can see your screen. Yeah, you're good to go. Okay.
Okay. Hi everyone. It's really good to be here. If we were in a on-site, if we were on-site, I would have just given like the people in the front row an high five. But I think it's good that we're not on-site right now because you would feel my sweaty palms. Cool. So our topic today is Jira for non-tech teams. And what we're just talking about is simplifying work management and collaboration. But before we dive into that, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Tolu for short, and I'm a software engineer, but currently I specialize in front-end development. And I've been using Jira for about 5 years now. So I was introduced to Jira, say 2020. So that's about 5 years now. And I've also worked a lot with agile teams in the agile environment. I really love building applications that are user centric and are also functional. And I strongly believe that Jira is one of those applications that I love using because you can see how it imputes the user friendliness of it, and also it's very functional for task management. So fun fact about me is I'm an amateur guitar player. I started learning how to play the guitar last year. I stopped and then I started again, but hopefully I would be able to continue, you know, this year. All right, so that's about me. And hopefully, if we interact well, I might just go get my guitar and play some chords for you. Or so yeah, cool. Okay, thank you. So the next, so I'll just be showing us what our agenda is for today. So today we'll be talking about, I mean, what's Jira? I'm sure you must have heard Jira, but like, what's Jira? What exactly is Jira? And then how non-tech teams can use Jira. And also we'll be doing a live demo. And also I'll be giving us some best practices, just something short and simple that we can all relate to it and also have at the back of our minds going forward. All right, so what's Jira? Jira. What's Jira all about? And I've broken my presentation down into four. Just a minute, please. So I've broken it down into four phases. So first is efficient task and project management. So Jira is a powerful tool for organizing tasks, managing projects, and fostering team collaboration. Jira helps teams to streamline workflows and improve efficiency. If you've ever, as a non-tech person, if you've ever struggled with getting updates from your colleagues about a particular task, if you've tried if you've given somebody a particular task before and then you have to call the person or go to the person's office to ask, oh, why is this done or is this not done, then you actually need Jira, right? Because Jira gives you that opportunity or that ability that you don't need to always ask people for updates every time, right? It's a collaboration tool where people can make updates on a particular task that they are assigned, and everybody can see it. So you don't the loop is always closed. It's not something that, oh, I forgot to call you, or oh, I forgot to let you know that I'm done with this task. No, it's it helps, it removes that dependency, right? When tasks are updated from one step to another, everybody gets to see it. So it's not just the management that gets to see it. Even whoever has been added to Jira on that particular project can see it and will be able to know what the progress is. I believe that, I mean, we all want that, right? I don't want to be calling my colleague to ask him. If Lewis is my colleague now, I don't want to call him to ask him, oh, have you picked up the task, or have you finished the task, right? I just want to see it and move on to the next thing. All right, so that's the first one. The second one is also versatile for any team. while Jira was originally created for software teams, so software teams like software engineers, DevOps engineers, and all of that. Jira is now widely used by HR teams, marketing, operations, and other departments. So now it's no longer for, oh, this is a tool for tech teams anymore. People in diverse departments of organizations can use Jira, and they've been able to use it effectively. And that's one of the reasons why this topic is coming up. So if you've ever thought that, oh, Jira is for tech teams, well, you might want to rethink you might want to rethink that, right? And open your minds that Jira is not just for tech teams anymore. People in the HR use it, marketing. If you're into like content creation, maybe for your organization, social media marketer, you can use Jira to track your task. You can use Jira to show the work that you've done. The next thing is agile friendly features. Okay, sorry, this stuff. Let me just. Okay, never mind. So the next thing is agile friendly features. So if your company or your organization or where you work uses agile, then Jira is very, very ideal for it. For people that run sprints, for people that do like backlog refinements, sprint tracking, like Jira is like one of the best tools out there for agile for an agile team. So if your team is not just the usual one where it's like waterfall, if you in your team use agile, then Jira is for you, really, because everything which relating to Scrum, relating to backlog refinement, retrospective, and all of that is supported in Jira. And the last one is comprehensive reports and insights. So with Jira, you can get reports, you can get the progress on your projects, you can identify like bottlenecks, and you can also use that data to make decisions for your next project or for your next task or whatnot, right? So for example, you have a project on Jira and you have a project on Jira and then it has been completed or to some extent. You can get like data, you can get graphs, you can get data on how some tasks moved from to do to done. And okay, you then know, okay, maybe this person is not fit for this kind of for this kind of task. Maybe we assign this to another person, or maybe we need to break down our task. Just different decisions that you can make just because you are able to use this tool and able to track your project. All right, I'll move to the next one. So all together, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, I want to remove this. Oh, okay. Just a minute, sorry. I feel like I should be able to minimize this. Never mind. Okay, fine, I got it. All right, so really sorry about that. Okay, so all together, everything that I've mentioned now, what is the goal of Jira? The goal of Jira is to help teams plan, track, and manage their work efficiently by providing a structured task management, collaboration, and workflow. That's the goal of Jira. And if you see in my text here, it doesn't say tech teams, it says teams. So it can be any team whatsoever, as long as there are people involved, as long as there are tasks involved, as long as there are projects involved. Jira can help you to manage work efficiently, and it can also help you to structure your framework properly. All right, so I'm going to the next slide. And well, you've heard Jira and what Jira is about and whatnot. But now the next question is, why should teams adopt Jira? A lot of tech teams have adopted Jira. But now the question is, why should non-tech team adopt Jira? Number one, and I have four reasons here. Number one, centralized task management. So Jira can help non-tech teams keep all their tasks, projects, and updates in a single platform, making it easy to track and avoid scattered information. Um, if tasks are not in like a singular platform, in a single platform, that's where you start hearing, oh, I thought you were supposed to do this. Oh, I thought you were supposed to do that. Why? And I mean, this happens just because there is no proof of truth, right? There's no proof of truth. So just see Jira as your proof of truth. So there won't be, oh, this person is, I mean, of course, you don't want to call your colleague a liar, but you can always use Jira to say, oh, you know what, this has been assigned to you, or this has been, this was supposed to be done, right? So just see Jira as a proof of truth for tasks, proof of truth to track progress. If many times many times emails probably go back and forth on particular tasks and all of that, but you can reduce that, right? You can reduce somebody sending an email asking about this, asking about that on a particular task, when you can use Jira. On Jira, you can add comments. So you probably have a blocker on a particular task or something. You can use Jira to add your comments, and when your colleague sees it, they are able to also reply, not having to wait for somebody to come to the office, or not having to wait for somebody to make a call or something, right? So Jira is like, that's your source of truth. Next thing is collaboration. So it enables team members to assign tasks, leave comments, share files within each task, ensuring smooth communication and reducing the need for excessive emails. I just mentioned that in the previous description, right? So team members can leave comments on task, right? And they don't have to send an email every time and say, oh, this is this, and then wait for the person to reply again. No, it reduces that, right? Communication is smooth. If a particular ticket is ready to be, is done and ready to move to the next step, I don't need to go call a person, right, or call my colleague or my manager. I can just do it on Jira, move it to done, and there's a message is sent that, oh, this particular task has been done, right? So this is one of the reasons why adopting Jira is like is important. The next thing is automation. So it helps eliminate repetitive manual work with automated workflow, reminders, and task assignments, increasing efficiency and human errors. So, with Jira, you can you can create like workflows, automated workflows. So when a ticket is created, you can automate it so that it's assigned to somebody immediately, right? So you don't have to wait for it to be created, and then by default it's just assigned to somebody. You can also use it to set reminders on a particular task. So probably this task will be due in a week or so. Every 3 days you want to send a reminder to the person that is assigned to this task, right? And so it reduces efficiency. It increases efficiency rather, and reduces human errors. Uses, oh, I forgot, things like, oh, I forgot, and all of that, right? But all these repetitive tasks that we do day in, day out, Jira can help us to automate it. And then the last one is transparency. So Jira provides real-time visibility into project status, allowing everyone to stay informed on what's happening, who's responsible for what, and upcoming deadlines. And I think this is the interesting part of Jira. Everybody in a particular project can see what is going on. So my manager does not need to call me by 2 a.m. or in the night, in the morning, asking me what is happening on so project. There's Jira there. You can just view it and see it, right? And I think it's beautiful. It also puts not pressure now, but it makes whoever owns the task, get ownership for it. See that this task is in progress. Everybody can see that this task is assigned to me, ends, I need to do my work, right? So it's not just me, myself, and just this colleague, right? Everyone on that board can see it. So that's the reason why non sorry that's the reason teams should adopt Jira. Of course, there are other reasons why, but these are like the four major ones that I've been able to highlight. All right, so we're just going to do something quick on how Jira works. So we've talked about it and all of that. Does Jira work? There are like four major components of Jira. This is basics. As you go, as you dive deep, as you continue to use Jira, you get to see how wide, how interesting this tool can be. But the first one is Jira project. So that's like a space to organize your work. There are issues or tasks. That's like the work items. There are workflows, and that's how tasks move from start to finish. And there are boards and views. So that's boards and views are just different ways on how to visualize your work, on how to show like your work or your boards. All right, so for Jira project is a project in Jira rather is like a folder containing all related tasks for a team or an initiative. So all the related tasks for a particular team is inside a project. So just see it as a container a container that contains all every task relating to a particular project or an initiative. And an example is a marketing project for managing campaigns or a recruitment project for hiring. So you can, or in an organization, you can have different projects. Just the way we have different departments, you can have different projects. So there's, for example, a marketing project on Jira, and what they are doing there is to manage their campaigns, and then they create tasks that has to do with that campaign, right? Also for recruitment. Then the next one is issues and tasks. Oh, is my voice breaking? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fine now, but it was breaking some time ago.
Oh, so sorry. So sorry.
Now it's fine, actually. Now it's fine.
All right, thank you. So I'll just continue.
Yeah.
So issues, and we can also call them tasks. I prefer to use task because it just feels like, well, it's an issue, but let's just use task, right? So tasks or issues are like individual task requests or work items that need action. So like I mentioned earlier, on a particular project, you can have different tasks, you can have different issues. So there are individual tasks that has to do with that project, right? And there are different types of issues. First, number one is tasks, which is just like the standard work item. You can have bugs. So like, for example, there is a bug on, I'm going to use maybe a bug on the front-end application, right? You can create a bug. So, a bug is something that is deficient. It's not a task. It's not like a feature that we're trying to add, right? And then the last one is a story. So a story is like a bigger kind of task for bigger kinds of works to be done on that particular project. Cool. So the next one is workflow. So every task follows a workflow. A workflow is just the steps that needs to be taken for a particular task to be done. So for example, in this example I've created now, there's a to-do. So to-do means, oh, this particular task needs to be done. Then there's in progress. So a particular task needs to be done. Okay, yes, we've identified it, we've created it, we've identified it. And then when somebody picks up that task, or when this task has been assigned to somebody, and the person who has been assigned that task picks that task, then it's moved to progress. And then when that person is done, it's being reviewed, right? So the review part is, maybe your colleague is checking it out, checking what you've done, or the manager is looking at probably a document that you've created and going through it, reviewing it. And then when this person that is reviewing the work is fine with the work and the task can be moved to done. You can see that it's a workflow. It's step by step. You can't move a task from to do to review. It jumps a process. What happened within the to do and in progress part, like what really happened, right? So for transparency's sake, so you move a task from a to do to in progress, review, and done. So it shows, and I mean with this you can also show how many days the person used to work on a particular task. So how many days this task was in progress. All right, so a workflow helps to track progress and accountability. Just like I said, you can know how many days this particular task used before it was picked. You can know how many days this particular task was in progress. You can know how many days this particular task was, in review, and you can also know when it was done, like when this task has been done. So it's a workflow. You can also have, your workflow doesn't have to be limited to this, right? You can have more than this, but depending on your team or how the team runs. All right, and the last one is boards and views. So you could have your board as a Kanban board, or you can have it as a list. So depending on how you want your projects to look like, or your board to look like on Jira. But Kanban is very pretty easy. It's like a drag and drop. If you like dragging and dropping stuff, then then Kanban is for you. And for teams that like maybe they like using Excel, they are used to Excel, the list view also works. All right, so I've said all of this about Jira, all these wonderful things about Jira, but like there should be real world use case, right? Because this is a non-tech team. What's like the use case for the real world use case rather? So for HR teams, I just picked for HR teams, you can use Jira to track employee onboarding. You can also use it for recruitment tracking. So a particular person is joining your team, can create a depending on what your onboarding process looks like. You can create a workflow and also create a task for employee onboarding for myself, for example, for Tolulope. And then maybe the first one is call with the CEO. Then the next one is giving a laptop and all of that, and on until the person is settled in, and then the ticket is moved to done. So it's just depending on how the employee onboarding workflow works in that organization. Also for recruitment tracking, so there's a particular role that needs to be filled. And I mean, I want to believe that some of us have applied for jobs, and then they send you a link. It's not a link. They send a list of how onboarding, their recruitment works. They give you tasks, or they do stuff. So right, you can use Jira to track it, which is actually beautiful. So there's a particular candidate. You put in that person's, of course, you write the title and everything. And then the first step is, culture fit, conversation culture with the person. At that first, at the first phase, if the person doesn't pass, you can just, put a comment on saying, oh, this person doesn't pass the culture fit meeting or the culture fit call, and then move it to done, because of course this person doesn't fit. Or you can, if the person fits, you move to the next workflow, to the next step in the workflow. All right, so that's for HR. And second one is marketing. So if you are in marketing, for example, social media scheduling can be done with Jira, campaign planning, everything that has to do with marketing. Because marketing is not just something that you just do, right? There's a planning phase and all of that. So you can use Jira to plan those phases. Operations. So probably there's an event planning at work. Event planning it can be tasking. So you probably need something to track like all the steps that has been taken during this event planning. And then finance, you can use Jira to, for invoice approvals, for budget tracking, and all of that. All right, so now we've come. Yes, now I'm done with all of the theoretical parts of Jira. And the next part is the demo. I will be sharing my screen to just show you what the interface looks like, and just for non-tech teams, how to create some utility things, just to get us acquainted with what Jira looks like. All right, just a minute. Okay, please let me know if you can see my screen with Jira. Awesome.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, thank you. So this is what Jira looks like from, I mean, this is very empty because it was just created for this demo purpose alone. So we on the on the left side, you can see this. I've been added to a particular project. So the project is Scrum demo because it's a demo. It can be anything depending. So like I was talking about marketing, it can be marketing, it can be marketing whatsoever actually. Then we have, so on the left side, we have summary, the timeline, in case I create a timeline so you can create timelines for your project, summary, so the summary of everything that happens on that particular project. You can also have backlog. Backlog is a list of items that needs to be done by your team, right? You can have that list. You can have the board. So the board is what I showed the first time. And the board just shows the workflow, right? Like I explained the previous time about the workflow. So you can see here on this board, which is pretty simple. We have the to-do, we have the in progress, and we have the done. That's the board, right? You can have more than this. I can add more than to-do. I can add more than in progress, just depending on what the peculiarity of my team. Yeah, and I mean, a whole lot of options. I will just limit it to that because I mean we're talking. This is a non-technical call. So I want to say, for example, I've been added to this project now, but I want to create a task. How do I go about it? So I would go to my backlog, or even if I don't go to my backlog, I can come here to create. It shows up, so it shows a new story. So it shows a new story and all whatnot, and project, issue type, the status, the summary, the description, who I'm assigning it to, the labels, the parent task. If I want to choose a team, if I want to select a sprint and all of that, so I could do that. Could do that from there, but I could also come here to the backlog. The backlog is a list of the items and the issues that you need to work on. So I can also come here to create a task. So I will be creating a task for a marketing team. So please let me know if you've lost me anyway. Sorry.
No, we've not lost you. Can go ahead.
Thank you. All right, so the title of my task is create social media post for new product launch. So let's say I'm a social media marketer and we are trying to create a product. We are trying to launch a product, and so I want to create social media posts for it. So just click on enter, and then from there I can open this up. Could open this up in a new tab. It's loading, just a minute. Okay. All right, so this is like I showed earlier. So this is the title. I can add a description. So if I would add the description to this. This is just showing how to create a task. And to add a description. So the description is draft and design a post for Instagram, LinkedIn to promote product launch. It can be anything, just depending on what you want, right? Currently, every new task that you create will be in to do or open. either one of it. So it's currently this task is in to do. It's not been assigned, but I'm the only person on my team, so I'll assign it to myself. Oh, Lewis is here, so let me assign it to him. I'm assigning to him. So it can be anybody as long as the person has been added to Jira. You will see the list of the names and you can assign it to whoever you want to assign it to. Right. So you can also set a due date. Say you want this particular task done by next week. So I'm going to put 26th of February as the due date for this particular ticket, for this particular ticket or task. You can also add labels. You can create labels. For example, I would use campaign as the label so that you can differentiate which is which. A team, you can create a team and also add the team to this ticket. If you also want to use agile, you can add the sprints to it. And if like you're an agile team also, you can also estimate the story points. So there's something called story point estimation, but we're not going there. So yeah, this is how to create a ticket on, or a task rather, on Jira. Pretty simple and straightforward. Because Lewis has been assigned to this, you would have gotten an email saying you've been assigned this ticket. And then, of course, the due date will also be show. It will see the due date and then knows what on before the end of 26th of February. All right, so that's to create a task. The next one I want to show us is how to. I've done it already, but just to show us again how to assign and add details to um, task. I'm going to go back to the backlog. So as you can see now that I've created that previous one, you can see that it's now part of the backlog, one issue, right? So you can keep adding as much as you want. I'm going to create an issue also. Just a minute. So this one is for HR teams. Complete onboarding for Jane Doe. Okay, just open this up so that it's clear. All right, so complete so like, I mean, I believe that every task should have a description. You just don't want to create a task and expect that people should understand the task. So I'm going to add the description also. And so description, ensure all necessary documents are signed, schedule, orientation, and set up system access. I'm going to save that. You can add, okay, another thing we can do is we can also add PDF file. So maybe there's a particular document that I want to send, I need to send to Jane so that she can, during her onboarding process, I can add it here. Let me just see if I have any particular, this, okay. Minutes. Okay, let me just add this. So yeah, it's been added. You can add like different stuff really. It's still loading. Still loading. I want to click on save, but it's still loading. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's done. So I can save this. And another thing I can do is also, put a comment. So say, for example, okay, so for example, say at Lewis, because he's the only team member I have, kindly ensure that Jane Doe is onboarded properly. Okay, so save. It could be anything actually. It could be whatever I want my team member to do. I could, send that to them instead of just sending an email. Oh, I've created this, and I'm sending it. I've literally sent him a message by commenting on this task. So last demo is moving a particular ticket from, or a particular task from to do to in progress and to done. So there are different ways you can do it. If you are in a team, in an agile team, you'd have to create a sprint and then move tickets. But you can also move the tickets by yourself, right? So if I click on this, it's taking a while. So you can see, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but you can see the to do. So it shows, like, because we have just three steps in our workflow. The first one is to do, like I mentioned, every time you create a ticket or a task, it will always be to do. So if, for example, Lewis picks up this task now, we'll move it to in progress. So I'm also notified that, oh, Lewis has moved this ticket to in progress, so it's working on it. When it's done, you can also move it to done, right? So it shows that this ticket has been done, everything is working as expected. So that's the workflow. Also, you can, let's say we create a sprint. Let me just create a sprint quickly and go back to the board. Okay, sorry, just a minute. Move this ticket to my sprint. And then let me just check the board again. Oh no. So I think I should put this in the first one. Okay, let me start the sprint. Just start. Okay, so let's say this is the only task that I have on my sprint. When I pick it up, I can assign it to myself, say I assign it to myself. If I start working on it, excuse me. If I start working on it, I can move it to in progress. And then once I'm done with this particular ticket, I also move it to done. And of course, I can also complete the sprints depending on if we are done with the sprint. So yeah, that's pretty much the demo. I don't know if anybody has, before I continue and complete my slides. Okay. Can you hear me though?
Loud and clear. We can hear you.
All right. Thank you. So I will just move to this all up. So how to use Jira efficiently. Number one is to keep tasks clear and concise. You want to, the title of your task, you don't want it to be too ambiguous. Like I said, you want people to be able to pick up the task and understand what exactly is going on, right? Then you can use labels and priorities. So depending on how important a particular task is, you can put priorities. Then for users of Jira, you should be able to update tasks regularly so that everybody on the team knows what's going on. It's not just you don't just put a task in progress for days without updating it. Let's let the team know what is going on, right? Then sorry, limit notification to avoid email. So because Jira works hand in hand with your email, there are times that you could your emails could be a lot. So but there are settings on Jira that you can use to limit the number of emails that come to you. Then last one is to leverage automation. Like I said earlier on, you can create like automations on Jira that you don't have to, just where I was assigning tasks to a colleague of mine and all of that, I don't need to do that, right? Once I create the task, it's just auto assigns depending on maybe the title of the task or something. So you can leverage on that. It makes it a lot easier, and then you are not doing things over and over and over again, which can be tiring. And then common mistakes that we should avoid is overcomplicating workflows. So the workflow that I showed was pretty simple. You move it from to do to in progress to done. But sometimes it can get complex, more complex than that. Like, right, it can be to do, blocked, impediments and all of those things. You want to try to avoid that complex workflow where people don't even know what's the next place to put a particular task anymore. You want to avoid that. You want to make it as simple as possible and easy for your users, for your team members to use. Right. So the next one is ignoring Jira updates. When you see an update on Jira, make sure that you look at it and don't leave your task outdated. When a task has stayed too long, it really can cause a bottleneck and be annoying. And then misusing permissions and access. So with Jira, you can have a particular access level and permissions. So you want to also try as much as possible to not misuse the access or the permissions that you have. You don't want to just be deleting tickets anyhow or task anyhow because you have that permission to. You don't want to be assigning tickets to whoever comes to your mind because you have that permission to, right? So as users of Jira, we should try to avoid misusing permissions and access. All right, that's about it from me. Just to follow up on this, if you need additional resources to learn, you can use Jira's documentation, which is very the documentation is really robust. You can also use YouTube tutorials, and of course there are community forums like this one, the Makurdi community, where you can also use to learn in case you have questions and all of that. You can also drop your questions and answers are given. All right, that's from me. I don't know if you have any questions.
Just a comment. And the
Okay.
session has been so nice.
Okay. Thank you.
I like
Thank you.
the employment system, how you are hiring the clients of the new employees.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's amazing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that comment. And trust me, there are a lot more that you can do with Jira, even just other than this, right? There's a lot more you can do with it. Just, dive into it and you just see the possibilities, it keeps expanding and expanding. So thank you very much for that comment. I really do appreciate it.
Can we gain some access of some teaching materials?
Sorry, come again.
Do you have a book or learning materials on how to learn
Yes.
deeply about Jira?
Oh, okay. Yes. In this slide, I don't know if you can still see my slide. But there's this place for additional resources. You can use Jira's documentation. I've attached the link to this. I'm sure this slide will be given to you afterwards. You can also use YouTube tutorials, and also if you would really love to learn more, you can also join community forums, because you can also learn very well from there. So, but this slide will be given to you at the end of this session, I believe, and you can learn from it.
Maybe you can provide the link in the chat area.
All right, that's no problem. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, thank you everyone. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you.
I thank you so much, Tolulope. Yeah, so person asking a question about the learning resources. Of course, we're going to share
recording of this session and then the slide. And of course, there are many resources that you said. Documentation is there. And they also put in the chat the link to Atlassian University, which is like the future the official learning platform for everything Atlassian. You can learn about Jira, Confluence, and other products there. Of course, YouTube is also there. So you get the slide, and I'll also include that in my when I'm wrapping up the events. I will include that in the email coming out. So you get the slide, get the link to some of these places to learn. Yeah, so if you have more questions, we can ask, and if you prefer to use the chat, it's fine. But since you're not many, you can just mute and then ask a question. It's and if you have questions, some of us here might have one or two experience with Jira. You can share your experience, just add to what you have said, about your contribution or just anything you would like to speak about. Floor is open. I have some few minutes before we go.
Now, I've been creating the account on Jira as we were learning, and it is my first moment to come approach this platform. It is amazing. I'm going to learn more about it. That is why I'm asking them the learning materials. Thank you.
Okay. All right, nice one. Okay, so for you actually, I can also do something. You can also use this if you go to the events website where you register. They say contacts, and if you try to contact the leader, you can actually reach out to me, and I can still give you some personalized stuff that's which might helpful to you apart from the general email coming out. So you can just reach out to me and I'll respond. Yeah. And then of course, so if we have more questions, thank you very much. Thank our speaker for taking out our time. Of course, this is work hours for most of us in this region, right? And it's not easy to take out and have from work to come out on us. Thank you very much, Tolulope. And then also thank you guys for joining. And then, yeah, as I said, we are going to be sending out post events resources, so we'll get content. And then, of course, our next event, which I just published today, is going to be about Rovo. Last year, where everybody was talking about AI everywhere. I remember doing Google and extant, the word AI was mentioned about over 600 times, right? So Atlassian also has what to call Atlassian intelligence, and then also about Rovo, which parts Atlassian intelligence. And this cuts across various Atlassian products from Jira to Confluence to Bucket and JSM and the rest. So our next event to learning more about Atlassian intelligence and Ruby. So if you're interested, we just register for the next events, and of course we'll be there and we'll learn more about it. So for today, this will be a wrap. Thank you all for coming and see you next time. Bye from me.
Thank you,
Bye.
Tolu. Thank you, Louis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louis.
Bye. Thank you.